Hello everyone, welcome to Marlin Chess Kids. Today we show the gameplay by Benz and Sikhanyiso, and this beautiful game complete in just 21 moves. And let's see how the game play. The game start with a pawn to d4, knight f6, bishop to f4, then d5 was played, and now the white play e3, and at this position white h and h, and here two of the bishop can be developed into the board. So after this e6 was played, and now knight to d2, then c5 from the black, and now the white play c3, then knight to c6, and here this is the first 5 move, and the position now become equal. Then the game continue with the white play knight g to f3, and after this bishop to e7 was played, and now the knight to e5 continue to attack the knight, and after this the black just go for a short castling, and here the bishop to d3, and keep on develop and also preparing to go for a short castling, and the bishop is attacking the pawn at h7. After this bishop d6 was played, trying to attack the knight, and here the bishop just go to g3 and preparing to use the pawn to play f4 and protect the knight, and this also allow white to castling, and the rook will be open up in the f file. So after this move, queen c7 was played, and the best move in this position is to use the bishop to capture the knight, and after pawn capture, then the knight can go to d7, and now you have two pieces attack the knight, and you will give white a better chance. So if you protect with the pawn f4, then the pawn to c4, and after bishop goes to c2, then now you can just continue to play a f6, continue to attack the pawn, and this will give black a slightly better position. So in the actual game, after bishop to g3, the black play queen to c7, and here the white just play f4. So back to this version, one of the possible move that the white can play is to use the knight to capture the knight, and after queen capture, then the knight can go back to f3, and this will give white the slight advantage. So in the actual game, f4 was played, and after this b6 from the white, then the white just go for a short castling, and now you can see that the pawn is pushed up, and this rook will be control the f file, and it's easy for the white to launch the attack. So after this, the black just push bishop to b7, then the bishop to h4, and this bishop will try to attack the knight, and once this black pawn capture it, and this will become a double pawn, and this bishop takes f6 is the strong threat, and this white will give the black some pressure. So after this move, the bishop just back to e7 to protect the knight to prevent the double pawn, and here the queen just continue to play queen to f3, and the idea you can have such as to attack with the g files, or you can also attack with the h file. So after this move, the black just play a g6, and here the white just play queen to h3. Now the idea is to attack the h7 pawn. Then the knight to b7 was played, and the idea is to bring the knight to d7 and protect the knight at f6. After this move, knight d to f3, bring up more of the pieces to attack the king side. And after this move, the knight to e4. So this is the first 15 move, and after this move, now the white is clearly better in this position. So after this move, the white just captured the knight, and now the pawn capture, and this minimizes the strong knight, black knight in the center of the board. And after this capture, the knight continued to play knight to g5. And in this position, what if the black push the pawn, such as pawn to f6 to fork the knight? And this pawn to attack both of the knight will be a tactical blunder, because the knight can capture the e6 pawn and attack both the queen and the rook, and it is a fork. So after this move, you need to move the queen, and if you move the queen away, such as queen to c8, then the knight can just capture the rook. Or you can just use the pawn to capture c5 first. And now if you try to move away the rook, such as rook to e8, then you can use the pawn to f5, continue to attack. And let's say if you use the pawn to capture, then the queen can just check the king, and now the king has no place to move, only can move to h8. And here you have the knight to f7, and this will be a very nice knight checkmate. So back to this position. And this knight, the black still cannot capture, so the white can just continue to attack the pieces of the black. And here, this pawn to attack. If you black do not capture, then the pawn will just capture and attack. And after attack, this will be a bishop open check and win the game. So for example, if you push a pawn, if the pawn do not capture, such as you move any move, such as you move a knight, then this pawn can just capture the pawn. Or more better, you can just use the knight to capture the g6 pawn. And if you use the pawn to capture, then here come the pawn capture. And here you have the open check of the bishop. Then the queen can go to h7 check, and it will mate at f7. For example, if you make any move such as a rook move, then the bishop will just capture, and it will be a win for the white. Such as pawn, the bishop capture, then the queen goes to h7, and it will be a nice checkmate. So it will be made in just less than 30 moves. So back to the position. After this knight come to g5, so the black need to capture the knight to minimize the attack. And after this, the pawn f to capture it, and this allows the rook to active control the f file. And the knight also can capture the pawn. After this move, queen to e7 was played, and here the knight goes to g4, trying to attack the king here and also open up the bishop. Then you have the queen checkmate at h7, and you have also many ideas for the white to checkmate. After this move, one of the tactical blunder that the black play in this move is to play h5. And with this move at h5, it allowed the white to be clearly winning. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white will continue to play in this position. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer. And for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the beautiful moves that the white played. And in the actual game, after this move, the first black move with two moves, it allowed a special move for the white to play the N-button. And with this special move N-button, it able to capture the pawn, and also this pawn can continue to check the king and win the game. So after this move, this capture also allowed the bishop to attack the queen, and therefore the queen had to move away. And in the actual game, after this move, Queen D6 was played, and with this move, the white win the game and mate in 3. I give a couple of seconds to figure out how the white continue to move in the next 3 moves and checkmate the black. Well, congratulations for those who found the answer. And for those who like to enjoy the show, here are the moves. After this move at the move 21, the white just moved pawn to h7. And with this nice move, the black resigned the game. And if you want to continue the game such as the king capture the pawn, then the bishop can go to f6, and this will be a open check. And with this, the king only have one place to move as nothing can block the check. So after the king goes to g8, you have the queen to h8 checkmate. And back to this position, and if you do not capture the pawn, you can just move the king to g7, and also the mate will be followed by bishop f6, and this will be a nice checkmate as well, as the king has no place to move. And if you move the king to h8, and the game same apply with the bishop to f6, and this will be a checkmate for the king as nothing can block the check. And with this, thank you.